Now today it's become clear that Pakistan's not just the fountainhead of terror but also morally depraved. Times Now has learned that the High Commission of Pakistan in Delhi has been accused of running an abominable sex for visa racket. This explosive claim has been made by an Indian lady professor who alleges that she was sexually harassed by two Pakistani officers when she went for a visa in March 2022. She reveals her ordeal in a letter written to the External Affairs Ministry seeking justice. And the details of the alleged crime are sickening. Not only were abominable sexual favors sought, she was also asked to betray her nation by writing anti-India articles on Khalistan and Kashmir. Here the victim actually narrates her ordeal.
Sir, I went on March 2022 last year, and they asked me to wait for some time in a lounge. So then they called to a visa office, and where they said in the first 1-2 minutes itself that visa cannot be granted since the government is unstable at that moment, since IK, Mr. Imran Khan's no confidence motion is in process. So you come later in May and then we shall grant visa. Started talking in general about why do you want to visit, who are you, where are you posted, etc., etc. So I kept answering slowly and slowly, are you married, which was a very generic kind of a question. I said, no sir, I'm not married. And he said, why, what happened? I said, nothing happened, it's just I am not married. He said, so what do you do to fulfill your sexual desires? And he also asked, do you have somebody you have sex with? Do you have somebody who you go out with? Can you have an extramarital affair to fulfill your desires? I got uncomfortable, I got up, I said, I want to leave. Please call the visa officer. Then he said,
and this is Mr. Asif from Pakistan High Commission.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And then I kept waiting, and then he started talking. You know, it's easy for us Muslims because we have option of 4 marriages, and if we get bored with one, we can go with second. Says, you know, I really like your personality. He extended his hand and held my hand. He held it for a longer time. When I got up and I pulled my hand back, he said, no, I was only appreciating the rings that you are wearing. During this course of time, he also spoke on Khalistan, he spoke on Navjot Singh Sidhu, he spoke on a number of other things. Then he exited that room and another person came after 10 minutes. That person seemed quite polished and he seemed quite respectable also. He was wearing a suit, business suit. So I assumed that he is in a higher position. He started asking me same questions but in a different manner. And they brought me to the point of actually feeling very awkward with the fact that I'm not married and I'm single. And they started asking me, how do you manage your home? Then if there's a problem, what do you do? Who do you go to? And etc. etc. Does your religion, he said this, does your religion allow you to have extramarital affairs? Does your religion allow you to have sex outside, of marriages, etc.? कहते नहीं आपने वो सोचा नहीं, हमने आपको बोला था आर्टिकल लिखने को. They said to me in the embassy that write an article, since I write articles on the government, on Modi, on Kashmir, and I should tell the true story. I said, sir, what is the true story? He said, you tell how you are being oppressed as a minority. I said, who said I am being oppressed as a minority? I am perfectly fine. He said, you as a Sikh, aren't you oppressed? Don't you want Khalistan? I said, no, I don't want Khalistan. I'm an Indian. I'm very happy as an Indian. Mr. Tahir Abbas, who was the second person who came in the embassy, he had given me his number. He had sent me a message while I was in the embassy. I could not access my phone at that time, so I had recorded that message. So I sent him a message. I said, Mr. Asif is calling me for visa. May I come now? He said, why don't you come to my city? Let me host you for dinner. And in order to know you, I would actually have to know you. So why don't you come over for dinner, stay overnight here, and then next day we shall grant visa.
In fact, to back her claim, the lady professor has also shared with Times Now WhatsApp chats which clearly indict the Pak officers. Here are the details of these chats.
Great. Would love to host you for a dinner since you would be in my city. Yeah. Let me see if I can get your visa.
Thanks a lot, sir, for offering. Unfortunately, I won't be staying overnight.
So, is it necessary to go back along with faculty? You can stay. How would you come for visa then?
Your offer for sexual favors termed as have dinner, get to know you, grant visa next day, etc. did not go down well with me. I was being polite since March 15. Probably thought I was some meek, single, desperate female who would fall for such antiques for mere visa to your country. Unfortunately, you could neither buy me nor seduce me. This was your Ramazan month, isn't it? Holiest, I believe, but not for scums like you and your allies.
Now, this incident took place over 9 months ago, and yet the sexual predators from Pakistan have managed to dodge Indian law. As members of the Pakistan High Commission, they enjoy immunity from facing a police complaint in India. The only option for justice for this lady is for India to diplomatically take up the issue with the High Commission. The issue now is, will this woman get justice?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us for more on the story, we have with us Tariq Fatah, who's a columnist. Ratan Sharda, author, continues to be with us, as does Sushil Pandit. Faraz Saeed is a political analyst joining us. But let me begin this debate by going straight across to Tariq Fatah. Tariq Fatah, this is perhaps for the first time that here in India we're hearing of this kind of a situation. But it's not the first time that it's been reported globally. There have been all sorts of allegations in just the past 2 to 3 years that I've been reading, at least, that have been reported from different Pakistani missions across the world.
Prime Minister is himself involved in sexual adventures and boasts about his virility and how many wives he's had. This should not surprise you. The entire community that exists in that country, I would suggest, are sexually frustrated males whose only hope of getting a date is after they die, when they go to paradise. And then too they'll get 72 virgins or whatever they have been promised. But it is despicable how their behavior reflects on people who otherwise would be pretty normal. But if your leaders are doing that, if you've got scandals right going to the top, where audio tapes are being leaked about, former prime ministers and the leader of the, Tehreek-e-Insaf or whatever it's called, it's no big deal. Women are like cattle. They are possessions. You have to understand that phenomena. That is why so many Muslim countries put their women, or even communities put their women in burqas. The woman is supposed to be kept locked up, and this is contrary to what is the principle in Islam, where a 45-year-old woman proposed to Muhammad, who was 25. Right. And they got married. Today you will never find a person marrying a widower or a divorced woman anywhere. Not even a single Khalifa anywhere has done that in 1400 years. All right, Kamar Shiva also joins the broadcast. Yes. Sexual crimes that have taken place across our countries. Okay. Islamic countries, whether it's Turkey, Iran, what's happening over there. All right, you made a number of points. You can't blame just Pakistan for that. All right. Let's go one by one. There are a number of points that you've raised. Allow me to bring in Faraz Saeed, a political analyst. Faraz Saeed, and the reason we are raising this is that this is an extremely shocking instance, because I don't think anywhere in our country, at least, we've seen that a person goes for a visa and they're asked for sexual favors, and they're pursued repeatedly by 2 individuals from the High Commission. This is absolutely shocking. But in the case of Pakistan, they have over the last 2-3 years, unfortunately, been reported such kind of incidents from different parts of the world.
Thank you. First, if the incident is true and true to the core, it's highly condemnable. First. And B, neither Pakistan nor India or any civil society would condone such an act. B, I found many loopholes in the story. The story I found is flawed. And, if the story stands to be, if there is any truth to the story, there are international conventions.
What's the flaw according to you?
See, if there are international conventions You can declare, if the diplomat is Pakistani, you can declare him persona non grata, send him back so we can try him in the courts.
No, that's for the government to take a call on. We are right now reporting the story of the victim, Mr. Faraz. I think we're putting the cart before the horse. We're going to get into what action the government has taken, and certainly we'll be debating that. But why do you prima facie want to shame a victim, a lady who has gone through the worst possible kind of harassment, Mr. Saeed? Because, you know, somewhere or the other, by saying such a thing, you are justifying what Mr. Fatah says, that women are treated like cattle.
I began with condemning the incident. If it's true, it's horrific, it's wrong, and it should not have happened at any level. Be it a Pakistan High Commissioner, be it or an Indian High Commission. This incident or these kind of incidents cannot be condoned.
Well, absolutely, and I'm glad you're making that point at least, because, you know, the larger questions, of course, at play over here. Sushil Pandit was nodding his head. Yes, Sushil Pandit, you want to respond to Faraz?
Yeah, you know, this is funny. After taking a very perfunctory, formal, moral position, then you go ahead and assail the very story itself without any grounds. You know, this is called hypocrisy. This is speaking from both ends of the mouth simultaneously. I must tell you, diplomats of any country are the elite of that country, social elite of that country, and they belong to the upper crust of the society. If this is how rotten the social elite, the professional diplomats of Pakistan are, is it any surprising that most of the pornography traffic on the net, Pakistan could be fined as the leading country for that kind of traffic? Animal sex, #1. Kinky sex, #1.
Okay.
And this is not I claiming so. You can go to the net stats. You can go to social sites. You can check with even sociology professors or media honchos of the world. It is a disease, it is a malaise, as Tariq Fateh pointed out.
So you're saying this is a larger sociological problem in Pakistan. I want Kamar Chima to respond to that. Kamar Chima, a very serious charge coming in, and both Sushil Pandit and Tariq Fatah seem to be implying that this is a larger sociological problem, whether it's the attitude towards women, whether it's sexual frustration that is manifesting in this manner. Both of them are saying that this is not something that is uncommon when it comes to Pakistan. Unfortunately, you have a situation where even the tapes of a former Prime Minister are now public, and that just goes to show the extent of the problem on ground. Kamar Chima.
Well, I think the first point I would just comment on Sushil Pandit. I think the people who come from Kashmir, they have to go an extra mile in India to prove that they are good Indians. I think coming forward to this point which you are talking, in my understanding, there are two things. The first thing is, a few years back, there was an Indian diplomat who was working for Pakistan, and she turned out to be, she was in a honey trap or something, and India felt a lot of embarrassment. And since then, I think the Indian diplomats or in the Indian Ministry of External Affairs were trying to cook something, and now they have reached to the point to cook something, and now they have come up. So your story says that the person was holding her hand for long. Then why she didn't stop him immediately? Why the hand of the lady was in the hand of a person for long? The stress is on the long.
She says so that you are held it for longer than necessary, and she pulled her hand back.
Let me complete my argument, sir. For long, this is what is being written on your screen. The question is why she didn't immediately stop him. Why?
She says why
the story is coming so
late? That's the point I'm making, Mr. Chima. She says that she stopped him. That is exactly what she is saying. You've read part of the sentence. You're not reading the complete sentence, because here is a lady who says that she pulled her hand back.
The question is, no, she's saying she held my hand for long. Your screen is telling, I don't know, I have not read anything.
Yes.
This is written on your screen. The hand of a lady was in hand of a person for long, not immediately.
You're reading half the sentence, you're not reading the complete sentence.
You have not done a good work. The research was not done properly. I fully disagree. There should have been more research.
Would you say that these
you can make good stories? Why the Times now have been given this task to prove the lady?
Asking her about
why Times now has been given this task?
You think this is something that is acceptable?
You have good researchers. Why this is happening only from
for a visa? Do they expect this kind of treatment from an embassy where they are asked about their sexual habits? Where they're asked about what their religion permits them to have extramarital affairs. I mean, come on. This is. I mean, let's come out and call a spade, please, Mr. Kamar Chima. You are someone who is known to speak your mind. At least speak your mind in this case. A poor helpless lady in this manner is being harassed, and you are trying to discredit her on national television here. Please.
If there is a serious discussion, we can have it.
In Pakistan,
the first thing is the Pakistani diplomats in India know that there is a hostile environment. So why a Pakistani living in a hostile environment will go for such kind of a things? I know diplomats from both the countries, and the diplomats are always civilized. They are literate, they are educated, and they are very human. They don't get into all these things, but unfortunately, you want your diplomats to.
Well, let me tell you, sir, how civilized diplomats from Pakistan are. I have a long list. I didn't want to take time of our viewers reading this out, but I just want to read out about just a sentence or two from at least 3 or 4 news reports. In May 2020, the Pakistan Foreign Ministry issued a press release informing it had sacked one of its foreign service officers posted in Ukraine on grounds of sexual harassment. Story number 1. In September 2022, a senior Pakistani diplomat, Mirza Salman Beg, was reportedly called home after a local female staff accused him of sexual harassment. Now, a Pakistan diplomat in November 2022 in Mexico was reportedly accused of gross misdemeanor by a local staffer. There are several such aspects. I have at least 5 or 6 other instances that I can read, but I don't want to take up our viewers' time. Do you think that this is the ideal of a diplomat? Your entire construct that diplomats are these superhumans who can make no mistake stands completely demolished, because these are reports that have come in from Pakistan itself, Mr. Kamar Chima.
Well, I think the only purpose in this entire story is to further deteriorate the relations between both the countries. And India has gone further low in the diplomatic, manners.
India has gone low, Pakistan has gone low. So it's right for diplomats to sexually harass women. It's right for diplomats to sexually harass women. India should just stand and quietly fold our hands and say, Namaste, thank you so much. Come on, Kamar Chima, which century are you living in? Where women cannot speak up for their own rights?
Get an idea from a Bollywood.
Please don't apply your bizarre standards of Pakistan here on us in India.
Why you are
here we can even question our Ministry of External Affairs as to why they have not taken action for 9 months. Can you do that in Pakistan?
Raw does not have good researchers.
The problem is in Pakistan, you cannot stand a woman even asking questions. Here's a woman narrating her ordeal and you do not even have an iota of sympathy for such a person, sir. That is the shocking state of affairs of Pakistan, and that's the unfortunate reality that Tariq Fatah and Sushil Pandit have been referring to. I see many hands going up. I'm going to give Ratan Sharda a quick chance to counter. Ratan Sharda, quick chance to counter Kamar Chima, who I come across to Sushil Pandit. Ratan Sharda.
Chima starts his argument insulting my Hindu brother in Kashmir. He should be ashamed. Secondly,
it's not about shaming. It's yes, the Muslims and the Kashmiris have to go an extra mile.
Let me complete. That is not an argument started with. Okay? You are on Indian TV. Don't try to behave as if you are on Imran's TV. Keep quiet, please. Keep quiet now. Let me speak. You told about you clearly insulted Sushil Pandit.
I know the Muslims.
Now let me complete the argument. Ask him to keep quiet, Mr.
Okay, Mr. Chima, you made your point. I think you can allow others to speak. He's not yet spoken on this debate. Yeah.
Kamar Chima is speaking of Pakistan as a very honorable country. Sir, it's a crumbling, decaying, civilized country, artificial country, which has no morals. It is an Islamic nation which treats India as an enemy country. So that is why Malik Ganimat is very fine with them. Secondly, two Pakistanis
Mr. Chima, you have made your point, and I think you're making a fool of yourself now by continuing on and on. You made your point. Let others speak, please.
Now, let me come to another point. Both the Pakistanis have doubted the integrity of woman. It is according to their own law that woman's testimony is half the testimony of man. So anyway, woman has no equality in law for them. It's like a woman has to produce 2 witnesses for rape in their case, and if she cannot produce 2 witnesses, she is to be punished. That is the kind of law that these people have. That is the mindset these people have. So they come on the TV, they can insult women. And lastly, this is a Sikh girl. Will Khalistanis ever stand up and say this insult will not take? because they have taken all the insult to all the Sikh girls. Every day Sikh girls are picked up. Even Granti's girl was picked up. And have they ever apologized? Have Khalistani projected? No. So this Pakistani-Khalistani game, Sikhs should realize they have no sense. Then about diplomatic immunity, the reason they are acting very smart, there is diplomatic immunity. Shouldn't government of India catch the person, throw him out of India? We should stop this diplomatic immunity. Will Pakistan take an action, have an inquiry against the diplomat?
That's a fair question.
These are the questions.
That's a fair question. Why should action not be taken? The government perhaps should answer that. But you know, Kamar Chima, the point is this, that not only was the woman sexually harassed, she was asked to write articles against India. She was asked to lie that she's being persecuted as a minority. She herself says, and you've heard her version. I hope you heard that loud and clear, where she says that I'm not in any difficulty, sir. She says, no, you're a minority, you are being prosecuted. Write about Khalistan, write about PM Modi, write against all of these articles against India. You know, so this is really the level of frustration, and this is ultimately what diplomats here are doing, creating false narratives.
I agree on one thing with Mr. Ratan, sir, that what should happen is that I think the High Commissioner or the diplomatic mission in both the countries, they are not doing any work other than blaming and shaming each other. So they should be shut. You know, the Indian High Commissioner from India, I call it a spy mission in Pakistan. They should come back and show the Pakistan.
And Pakistan is in India. The Pakistan High Commission is doing yeoman service. Pakistan and India is doing yeoman service. This is how you are serving the society at large.
That is Indian spy mission.
Amazing interpretation, Mr. Chima. Quick closing comment from Sushil Pandit. Sushil Pandit, you know, many are going to raise a question as to why this incident that happened in March, and I think it's a valid one. You know, the woman has the courage. She musters up the courage after about 2 months. She files a complaint in May. But what has the government of India done? We are still not the wiser. There was a MEA briefing today, but we didn't get any sense of what the government has actually done. Because if this complaint is legitimate, if there is strength in it, then why should the government not show that they will not take such kind of misdemeanor lying down?
Madhav, I completely agree with you. Two things quickly. This is not some verbal claim made by a lady. She has corroborative evidence in terms of WhatsApp chats, which completely tally with the story. So this is a tight, cast iron case. Number two, India has never been tough with Pakistani missions here. India never threw out Pakistani High Commissioner in the wake of Kargil, in the wake of attack on Parliament, in the wake of Mumbai attacks, in the wake of Uri, in the wake of Pulwama. We never did anything. And for Indian Parliament to debate openly and vote out Article 370, they threw out our High Commissioner.
Right.
When will we wake up?
When will we wake up? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sushil Pandit, but I'm completely out of time.
We have to have a relationship of equal.
I think this is a question for all to ponder over. Even India needs to introspect as to whether it should take this kind of, absolutely unacceptable behavior lying down. Tariq Fatah, Ratan Sharda, Sushil Pandit, Faraz Saeed and Kamar Chima, thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this evening.